Before Solo Leveling became one of the most talked about anime of the year, it was a wildly popular Korean webtoon. This peak action-packed story made its leap into anime in January 2024, and after a successful first season, fans are already counting days for its season 2 in 2025. The hype? Absolutely worth it. We all love a good underdog story, right? Solo Leveling takes this trope to a whole new level. It's about someone who went from zero to hero so quickly, it's almost unbelievable. Now, if you've been living under a rock, or just somehow missed the tide of hype, let me break it down for you. It all started when some mysterious portals appeared out of nowhere, and surprise, inside them were monsters and beasts that clearly weren't here to make friends. These monsters can't be defeated by regular weapons due to them possessing powerful energy known as mana. But then, some human warriors called hunters came forward to tackle these monsters. Each hunter lies in the ranking from E to S, or to put it simply, from weakest to strongest. They possess various magical energies and use them to fight magic beasts. 10 years later in the story, these portals have become somewhat normal and people have gotten used to them. But in true capitalist fashion, these portals got the name dungeons, which quickly became a money-making opportunity for hunters who fight the beasts and get money in return. They also collect precious items known as essence stones from the beasts that they kill. These glowing stones are actually the primary source of income for hunters around the world. Even the stones have some value determined by their rank and quality. E-ranked stones get sold for very cheap, while the S-ranked stones are sold for millions. Now, let's meet our main guy, Sung Jin-woo, the world's weakest hero who falls into the category of E-rank. He only works as a hunter to make money for the treatment of his sick mother, who suffers from a disease called eternal slumber, which occurs when someone is exposed to mana energy for a long period of time. One day, Jin-woo teams up with a group of hunters to enter a C-rank dungeon. Yes, you've got that right, even the dungeons are ranked by difficulty, and their gates only close once you've defeated the dungeon boss. Guess what happens when you fail to defeat the dungeon boss? Pure destruction. It causes a dungeon break, meaning that the monsters inside the dungeons can actually come out and start attacking humanity. After Jin-woo's group defeated what they mistook for a dungeon boss, they made a very wrong turn and came across a dungeon within a dungeon, which is called a double dungeon. Now, why was this a wrong move? Well, the hunters decided to enter the dungeon out of curiosity, only to find out that it was actually an S-rank dungeon. But the damage was already done and the hunters got trapped in it. Here, and on the very first day of their job, the hunters messed up and came across the statue of God. Now, inside this very mysterious dungeon, there were more statues that started killing the hunters. But thanks to Jin-woo's understanding of the meaning of the stone tablet, the killing stopped and the remaining escaped. Except for Jin-woo, who decided to play the hero and stayed behind. While he was on his last breath, the game decided to make an offer to him to become a player. Naturally, Jin-woo had no other choice than to accept this offer, or else he would have died. Right at this moment, Jin-woo was reborn and got his consciousness back at the hospital where the Korean Hunters Guild investigated him because they suspected he might have experienced a double awakening. This type of awakening occurs when a hunter who already had powers from their initial awakening gets another powerful awakening. It's like a massive upgrade to their abilities, which makes the hunters far stronger than before. Now, Jin-woo didn't experience any kind of double awakening as he's still an E-rank hero. This new ability was merely exceptional. So after the Hunter Guild left, the game system introduced Jin-woo to his daily tasks that he must complete before the next day arrived. No excuses allowed. If he failed to do so, he would be punished. Just like in episode 3 when Jin-woo failed his first daily quest, which teleported him to a desert where he had to fight a huge centipede magic beast, which definitely wasn't for the weak. Especially someone like Jin-woo, who's just an E-rank hunter. However, if he completes those tasks, he can increase his strength, agility, height, and even intelligence. Now, with the new system, Jin-woo realized that he could actually level up, making him the only hunter in the solo leveling world with that ability. Realizing this, Jin-woo dove into his daily hustle and even gained access to a special dungeon, a privilege only he had thanks to the key he earned from completing one of his daily quests. When he entered this dungeon, Jin-woo had to fight multiple enemies all by himself. It was a huge moment of victory for Jin-woo because he realized his training had finally paid off. But it was not the end. Jin-woo also had to take down the steel-fanged Lycans, which not only increased his stats but also granted him the transportation stone. At this time, Jin-woo could have escaped the dungeon using the transportation stone, but he decided to explore the dungeon a bit more. Then he came face to face with the dungeon boss, a blue venom-fanged Kasaka, whom Jin-woo defeated by crushing its neck literally with his bare hands. This battle got him a dagger which can paralyze and drain his opponents for a set amount of time. After all that leveling up, a race god was born. He completely transformed into a new, unrecognizable person. As he continues to grind, Jin-woo realizes that he really needs some more cash. He started looking for more dungeon jobs to complete. He then decides to join hands with a group of hunters commanded by Hwang Dong-suk. He needed 2 more members to clear the C-rank dungeon, but something darker hid beneath Dong-suk's increasing tensions that we're going to find out later. Now, once this group reached the dungeon boss's room, they tricked Jinwoo and a rich kid called Jinho into staying behind by saying that they were going to go get the tools for mining the mana crystals. However, this was a deceptive move, as the group actually wanted to take all of the earnings for themselves and use Jinwoo and Jinho as bait. So the group closed the entrance to the dungeon and waited for the duo to meet their demise. Little did they know, they were messing with the wrong fellas. Especially Jinwoo, who had been leveling up this entire time. Jinwoo takes out his dagger and starts to attack the boss spider with it. Meanwhile, Jinho watches the whole battle in disbelief, since he thinks of him as nothing but a false rancor due to his unnatural abilities. On the other hand, Jinwoo continuously stabs the boss spider in the head until he is paralyzed completely. When Dongsuk and the group of traitors came back, they were shocked to see that the duo survived. This causes them to gang up and try and kill them, but the game system tells Jinwoo to kill the 5 hunters or else his heart would stop racing. In this peak cold battle, Jinwoo gets his revenge and takes on all the 5 hunters, which sent chills down everybody's spine. Ultimately, Jinwoo takes them all down, and it was truly a spectacular watch. After this mind-boggling battle, Jinwoo continues his daily grind and fights stronger opponents. In episode 7, he even gets to know about the Elixir of Life, a potion that can literally cure any disease when consumed. Knowing it could save his mother's life, Jinwoo decides to gather all the important ingredients for the elixir, and he even enters a special S-rank dungeon where he outmatches Hell Gatekeeper Sarabusk, the 3-headed demon hound who serves as a guardian of the gates of hell. Before he explores the dungeon more, Jinwoo comes to a realization that he needs to get way stronger to get the Elixir of Life and leaves. Afterwards, we see Jinho demanding Jinwoo to make him a guildmaster for 30 billion, to which he actually agrees for his growth. In episode 9, Jinwoo enters another dungeon, but with the same hunters from the double dungeon in the first episode. This episode just hits the spot, because the hunters from the double dungeon are forced to face the guilt of their actions. Anyways, these hunters are also joined by a murderous sociopath, top B-class hunter Kang Tae-shik, who has a knack for killing humans. He even kills some of the hunters from Jinwoo's squad, which results in yet another peak battle. This battle between Jinwoo and Kang was so cool because, of course, Kang stood no chance against Jinwoo. Even after revealing his murderous intent, Kang was stabbed right in the heart and got defeated. After this specific battle, Jinwoo caught the attention of the Hunters Association, but luckily Song Chi-yul, the C-rank hunter and a Kumdo teacher, protected him. Later on, Jinwoo and Jinho's partnership continues, and they go on to clear out multiple C-rank dungeons, which got the attention of a White Tiger Guild member known as An Sang-min, who wanted to recruit Jinwoo. However, Jinwoo had other plans. He even scammed Sang-min by selling the dungeons he no longer wanted to do for double the original price. This is business after all. Afterwards, Jinwoo receives an offer from the system to change his job with the condition of surviving for a longer period of time against the dungeon beasts. Jinwoo enters the dungeon without hesitating, and he runs into the most powerful opponent he had ever faced. This opponent is Igris, who completely obliterates Jinwoo. This was by far one of the best battles in Solo Leveling, considering the animation quality and the kick-ass action. However, in a dramatic turn of events, Jinwoo stabs Igris using his dagger through the throat. While any regular dungeon would be closed as the enemy had been defeated, something unimaginable happened. A whole bunch of portals started opening up. Knights and mages began to come out of these portals. Jinwoo had no other choice than to take on all of them, despite already being on the verge of death. But in regular protagonist fashion, of course he can't die. It's just all part of being the main character. Jinwoo got lucky and was teleported to a desert as punishment for not completing his daily quest. One of the only times slacking has led to something positive. There he faces off against multiple centipedes, which was a piece of cake for him. It even resulted in Jinwoo restoring his stamina and defeating the knights and mages back in the dungeon. Later on, his job changes to that of a necromancer, also receiving bonus points while being upgraded to the Shadow Monarch, someone who can summon the dead. At the end, Jinwoo uses his newly equipped power to get his first major shadow, Igris. And with that, the first season concludes with Jinwoo beginning to build his very own shadow army, which hints at the undefeatable power he now has and sets the stage for future battles. Season 2 will show Jinwoo having full control over his Shadow Monarch powers, with the story diving deeper into the mysteries of the system which granted him all of these abilities. It will also cover the popular Redgate arc from the webtoon, which is known to be one of the best arcs in Solo Leveling. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this.